Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Elite Yapping podcast. We have our guest star here, Evan, and our other guest here, Henry. We have been given a lot of prompts by some questionable people, if you ask me, because some of these are kind of crazy.
Without further ado,
Straight into the prompts.
I bench 170.
So,
sure does.
the first category, I've divided these prompts into categories here. The first category I have is conspiracy theories. And I have general because I had like 4 people send me in conspiracy theories. So, do you have any raging conspiracy theories?
I don't really know any of them. You have to.
Start listing some off maybe.
Yeah.
Underground tunnels at Disney World.
Illegal smuggling of drugs.
At Disney World, huh?
Yeah, I've heard only a little bit about that, and that's something to do with like Walt Disney being frozen, and
Oh yeah, inside the vault.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. No, I think that one's not much of a conspiracy theory as it is just true. It's kind of just they're there.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
I have no idea.
I mean, I've heard plenty of stories about people just like, security like having to take someone out quietly. I mean, not not quite take someone out, but have them exit the park. And so they just had to take them down to the tunnels. Like, a kid gets lost. So I think that was just true.
Definitely did not know about that.
My kid gets lost and they take him to an underground tunnel. I'm gonna have an issue.
Well, yeah, I would too.
Okay, don't know much about that one. Aliens.
I
Anything
hope
like-
they're real
You
and
hope.
kill me. So, for fun, of course, for fun.
You hope they kill you.
Yes. They can use my body for science. That way they don't have to kill other people later.
How likely do you think it is that they're real?
Not likely.
Nah.
My chances of staying alive are pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
I pretty highly doubt there are aliens out there.
I think it's very possible. I mean, I think it depends what you mean by aliens, because life itself is pretty tenuous. But I don't know. Could be. I don't think they're ever gonna come to Earth in our lifetimes if they exist. But
What about even just like life on other planets?
Yeah, probably.
I think
I think that one's pretty probable.
because I think we found not bacteria, but some of the proteins required for bacteria
Yeah.
on an asteroid, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
definitely possible that there's some kind of something, life, like, that has the ability to, it has cells. Bacteria, does bacteria have cells?
Yeah, I mean that's all life does.
Yeah,
Cells are,
single cell organisms.
6th grade cells are the building blocks for all life.
That's a good question,
Yeah.
right?
So, yeah, it was
So
pretty
isn't those
solid.
like the amoeba things that can survive in really low temperatures and like
Oh,
really
like
hot temperature
like the
things?
water bears?
Yeah, those things. I mean, those things go to other planets and slowly evolve. So it makes sense that we find stuff. I mean, how many things do we throw in space? Different species, other stuff like that, from our own ships. Things to lodge to those. You never know. Parasites, other stuff like that. They're probably gonna die in space, but the water bear things could get attached to that and just kind of float out there.
For chance.
That's a really good point.
I mean, there's probably something out there. It might take a while for it to find a planet, and it might never get back to us, but there's a chance.
I think it's interesting because we can't really classify life because, if you think of it like evolutionarily, technically like everything evolves, Like if there is something that has the qualities to keep existing, then more of the things that have those qualities are gonna keep going. Like for example, there's like a store that has a product that sells really well, then there's gonna be more of that product because it has those qualities. So I don't think that necessarily cells is, foundational for alien life, but I think it's pretty interesting because we could just have something that's like, moves around in funny ways, but in the way we classify life might not even be that simple.
Take rocks for example. Stalagmites and stuff grow by just water dripping down off the ground and grow from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Behaves or down, So it makes sense. I mean, planets could grow on their own given enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I doubt that though.
Next up, we have the Bermuda Triangle, and that's
Hear me out.
Oh,
Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. So you know how eels, right? They couldn't find anything for how they breed and stuff because they don't apparently. They just accept the fact that they always migrate to the Bermuda Triangle. I got a feeling that the reason things like electricity stop working there is because all the eels, when they go down there and migrate during seasons, because they're all electric, right? They make electric currents that can kill things. They're just working as a giant EMP down there. That's why things like electronics go blurry and stuff like that, and like certain things don't work, like boats and stuff, because they're in the water. I mean, the water above it, the air and stuff, could be electrified too a bit just from a ton of eels in water evaporating up, causing that. So that would make sense.
That's interesting because that's not how that works at all.
We're talking about theories here,
Well,
I don't know how
This is
eels work.
conspiracy theories.
Scientists know
Electric
how eels work.
Try to think about it. Electric eels, so that's kind of crazy because they did this test where they put like a mannequin arm with LEDs on it, and the electric eels exist, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
They just they came from mud.
And it touched the thing, and it lit up. It has enough power to power LEDs.
They kill things with that electricity.
Yeah.
They don't have genitals either. They have nothing of that. They do not reproduce. They go to the Bermuda Triangle and more appear. That is how it happens.
They figured out something like they literally grow them in mating season, which is kind of crazy.
Scientists originally thought they came from like the mud and stuff because they were like, just they couldn't find a way to see how they work. I mean, because they don't do anything. They grow, get bigger, and then they're gone. That's just how they work normally.
Pretty wacky, electric eels. I really thought about them, like how they work.
I really think the Bermuda Triangle is just a giant like EMP field for boats and stuff, which causes their electricity to stop working because of all the other electricity in the ground just messing with them. I mean, a wooden boat might not have the issue, but like metal boats and stuff, that's got to be a bit conductive, right? Electric testing it could eventually get this stuff.
Where do you think eels come from then? They're just like another animal, or do you think they're like?
Oh no, they do go to the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know. I watched a TikTok video on it, so I'm no expert. I'm a crackhead with ideas, but
That's a good quote.
Yeah.
That's good.
I could be very wrong on this. Maybe they do like reproduce normally in other places besides the Bermuda Triangle. Maybe I'm the silly one here, but so are you for putting this in here. Shame
Who
on
said that
you.
one? That might have been Hope. I don't know.
Hmm.
That's kind of funny.
Interesting.
For the history section of this, we have the 2024 election. That probably meant to say 2020, if I'm being honest. Sleepy Joe being elected.
Yeah, not the play there. That poll was rigged. Polls don't go up like that overnight. That was hey Dad, how you doing?
We have a visitor.
Yeah.
And none of us are holding the camera, so we can't pan to him.
Dad, say hi.
Hi. I don't know if you're filming anything right now.
No, we are.
You what?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That would have been really funny if you could see what was going on. Okay.
Anyway, the 2024 election.
2020 election.
2024.
Being rigged?
We can talk about those.
I think it's possible.
The 2024 election happened yet?
Well, we can do
Can you talk about
predictions.
more? Predictions? Who are even the candidates this year?
Well, it's
Donald
gonna
Duck.
be,
It's gonna
Trump is going to be in the running.
It's gonna
Oh, again? Got out of jail?
And
Yeah,
they haven't, they've,
Whole bunch
it looks like Biden's gonna be the nominee again. Which doesn't really.
He's gonna miss it because he's gonna be asleep. He's gonna fall on some stairs and not get back up this time.
Yeah, I honestly, with how old he is, I don't know how improbable it is that he just dies like from natural causes. Like, I mean, I don't know if he'd be the first president to do that, but I guess there's that one that died of pneumonia. But
He's gonna freeze to death eating ice cream. He's too old. His skin's getting weaker. You can see it on him. He's gonna just, heat, cold. It's gonna get them straight to his bones. He's gonna walk in there. He's gonna be a popsicle.
I just really don't see the American people deciding as a whole that, yeah, this guy is capable of doing that again.
No, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, he's just gotten too much bad PR from not
I
being
like-
able to walk up a flight of stairs.
It's really funny. When Trump was president, it was all, here's why Trump's bad, elect Biden. And now it's not even elect Donald Trump because Biden's bad. It's just Biden sucks. Get him out.
I think it's going to be Trump for that reason because it's, Republicans are Biden, right?
No, that's
Flip
Democrat.
it around.
Okay, Democrat Party, they're going to be split between Biden and some other candidate. So then Republicans probably just mostly going to be Trump. So I think it's going to be Trump this year.
Yeah,
I think we
Robert.
need somebody new, somebody younger, preferably. We don't need to have any more old people listen. I don't want another fossil in the White House.
Yeah,
okay?
Trump's not even that much like younger than Biden though. So.
Yeah, but at least he functions like an old
Yeah,
person
he
for the
doesn't look
most
the
part.
He doesn't look the part, so
Yeah.
that's the biggest difference.
You heard Robert F. Kennedy?
Oh, I guess I did.
He's running for president.
What party?
He's running as an independent because he thinks the Democrats betrayed him
Interesting.
by not giving him Secret Service.
Oh, that's right.
Mm.
Interesting.
Maybe
That
they have a
kinda-
chance.
I kind of smooth this onto JFK. Assassinations, Secret Service.
I think it was just a guy with a good shot.
There's something they're not telling us. Like it just doesn't add up. There's something else that we just don't have. And the reason we don't have it is probably a government cover-up. So don't know too much about it, but I don't think we can safely say that it's not conspiracy.
There could have been two guys and they just didn't find the other guy. That could be the whole reason why they covered it all up. Was just because they were incompetent, couldn't find the other guy because they were too focused on the first guy,
But
where they actually knew where he was from this videos.
But if there were two guys, I don't know why there wasn't like, that wasn't like a main point during the investigation. I mean, they brought it up, but like, it doesn't sit right.
Think about it. You're meant to be like the best force for like finding somebody, and he kills the president. Like those two people, if there were, would be major targets. You caught one, right? But you can't find the other guy. He disappears, because there's so many people there. You're not gonna say like we can't find this guy. I mean, you can't do that. That's gonna make you look incompetent. They don't want their budget to be cut and put to other people. So they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna cover up. There was only one guy. They caught the guy. You're all fine. No more commotion. If they do catch the other guy, they'll release new news saying they found him probably, but they didn't. They didn't find him if he did exist.
Really, they didn't really, hear about the fourth shot until, a while after it had already happened. So he was probably like out of the country at that point.
Yeah, I mean he could have been gone. He could. Matter of fact, he could have even stayed in the country. They wouldn't have found him. If it took them that long to finally see that then.
And it's not like they have any other evidence other than the fact that it was another guy. So.
Yeah. And the first guy got killed before they could really question that. So
Yeah, that's what I find suspect. Is that the guy that pled guilty and was gonna talk, he got killed too. And emotions running high, killing someone because you love the president kind of makes sense. But like, don't you want the plot to be brought to justice?
Well, surely he wasn't thinking all the way through it. Like he wasn't thinking that far. He's just like, oh, you killed the president? Sucks to be you now.
Well, what about the guy that shot the guy who, was suspected for shooting him? What if he wasn't the second guy? What if his teammate got caught and went there to cover it up? He shot that guy. He was on crime for killing that guy. Instead of the other one, that's a blowover for that guy then. Maybe the shop owner there, was the second shooter. I mean, he had a gun. He was okay with just shooting a guy in the streets. I mean, JFK shot in the streets. I mean, it's better than the magic bullet theory. That was silly.
Yes.
Silly. Whimsical, perhaps.
That's the end of the conspiracy theories part. The prompts. Alright, we're on to the very short politics section, and straight up, thoughts on Donald Trump.
I could care less about politics. They don't bother me any. As long as I can continue doing whatever I feel like doing, I'm fine.
I can't vote yet, so I don't really care. But he's a pretty funny guy. I don't know what his politics are, other than like building a wall. But he's pretty funny. He's good for the camera. He's charismatic.
And I think the thing that people miss most, that people get wrong, he's kind of a bad guy, if we're being honest. He's a billionaire. But I think he wants what's best for the country, honestly. I think that's his motivation. A lot of people can't really see that. I'm not a diehard Trump fan because, he is pretty old, and he's a billionaire, does he really a millionaire? Does he really reflect what I want as a common person? I don't know, but don't hate him. Definitely don't hate him.
You know what I personally think? I think the best way for America to go as a country would be to find a guy who just doesn't care about politics in any way possible.
Jimmy Carter.
A politician who doesn't care about politics might not be the best idea.
I don't think about it. A guy who doesn't care about politics being our president, an unbiased view. He's gonna simply think whatever he thinks. You just find a good, honest man and have him as our president. He's not taking either side.
I think there's a South Park episode about this.
Really, that's cool.
This is a pretty
That
hot
doesn't
take.
go
I
well,
don't know.
I don't think
I see where
you
you're
find
coming from.
you find a younger guy, right? Who's experiencing everything in the world that's happening right now and isn't like a fossil who's old. Because I mean, somebody who's older, right? Like they're gonna die soon anyway. What do they really care? How much can they care? Everything that's happened in their life has happened, and now they're there. Like they've cared about so much in their life. How much can they really care for left? I mean, they're old, and you get too young of a guy, right? He's gonna be swayed by whatever the people say. You gotta get that right in the middle. Like, a person who's like maybe like 40, 45, you know? He's seen the world, he's seen what it used to be, he's seen what it's becoming. He can do something about that, you know? Maybe get a guy who has a few kids, you know? He's not that old, not too young. His kids are still going through school and stuff, so they get his opinions from there. He's got a pretty well, thing of opinions. Probably from a small town too.
I like that idea.
Evan, why don't you run for president?
Oh, no one would like me.
You sure?
I would love to, but no one would like me. I'd walk up on the stage, they'd boo me off. I wouldn't get this stuff.
Well, the country doesn't know you yet. You gotta make a name for yourself. Like, no one on television acts the way they are, you know?
That's right.
That's like 99% of being a politician is lying. So lying about your personality, like, that's hardly the mind, because eventually it just becomes personality.
Okay, sure, you gotta put on an act eventually.
Yeah.
So a lot of actors become presidents because they're good at that. You know, they're good with their words and stuff. I got good enough jawline. I bet I could pull something.
You could be president.
Yeah, I could try. I wouldn't.
Anyway.
Like schooling for that?
Huh?
Don't you take like a schooling for that too? Like you have to have an amount of years of politics first before you can even get in.
I mean, legally, a mentally disabled, handicapped person, as long as they are American, as long as they're American, born in America, been here for however many years, 35. I mean, there's no
Like ice cream. Can't
something
walk
like that.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Some wheelchair people go upstairs faster.
Okay.
All right.
The next one is who's right, Israel or Palestine, and are you happy about the state of the war?
I know nothing about this. Whatever the college students are protesting, I'm against them. I don't know what one they're talking about, but I know they're pretty stupid.
That is a valid take, and I don't really know why anyone would be happy about a state of any war. But
That's what the war's for.
So you think we shouldn't have intervened with the Holocaust?
what?
We
What?
shouldn't have intervened with the Holocaust?
Shouldn't have?
We shouldn't have?
We definitely should have.
So you think that we should have had a war then?
Well, we're not actively at war with them. We were at war with Germany.
If we're not at war, we should have an unbiased opinion. That way we can gather facts in case we do have to go to war. That way we actually know what we're going to war about, instead of just having a bunch of unbridled anger for no reason against a country we're not fighting. How many Americans have they killed right now in this war? I mean, maybe a few tourists here and there. I don't know if they have tourists anymore, but like,
I
mean-
doubt it. I don't think
Yeah.
tourists are saying, oh, look at Gaza.
No, they're still,
hey, look at Gaza! Hey, look, a bomber!
people still go to Jerusalem all the time.
Jerusalem's a cool place.
Well, Jerusalem's one thing. Like, my dad went there a couple years ago before the war started.
It's yeah. I
mean,
think the problem with it though is that both sides are being bad and being unfair, and it's kind of making like, it's whatever you look at. Politicians, the media, they're gonna play off of whichever side. Like, oh look, they got bombed like this. Look,
Yeah.
feel bad for them. The other side's gonna say, look, they got attacked. Feel bad for them. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It's gonna spin them off as they're the victim because it gets them more money.
Do you know though, like what this war is about? Like, what are the sides and like their views? Because I really
Okay,
don't.
Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and the Hamas group inside of Palestine, and Israel have been fighting for many, many years about, who owns the land. The people in Palestine claim to be oppressed by the Jewish people because there's a lot more of them, and they got the territory given to them in the 40s, which happened all the time. So it's a really hot spot. They both claim the territory. Israel has the advantage. Palestine's down here. They can easily play it off as they're being backed by other nations to fight Israel because everyone around them doesn't like Israel. So everyone hates everyone in that area, and it's easy to play the victim, and it's easy to blame the victim. So it's a whole mess.
I think the best way to resolve this issue would be if each side, right, if we take a break, right? We have each side a break, a 1 year break. Everybody who's helping back either side or against it each time, take all of their stuff out. Let those countries have a year to prepare for a war, and then let God sort them out. They just go at it. Either both countries fall and neither of them deserved it, or one of them does. Maybe after the ashes of the countries are destroyed because they couldn't, fix their hatred for each other, maybe the people left and they will, find peace and they can just merge the country into one nice big thing instead of, them always waging war. I mean, this is like what, a 10-year event every time? Like every 10 years they're over here having new drama. Like, just let them burn themselves at this point. They want to be, let them. If they don't deserve the land, neither of them are gonna win this war then.
Well, the problem is one side always declares war first, and the other side's defending. So you can't just say not have a war because one side probably didn't want it as much as the other one. So.
Well, that's the thing. If it's just one side always having to defend and the other side's attacking, and just keeps switching between the two, then they're just trading blows at this point. One hits one, they stop because the American intervenes sometimes, or another country does. The other side gets angry at them, they attack. If each side just takes a break, talks out for a year so they can make peace while preparing for war themselves and getting ready to defend, they will set a time and a date for when they'll start their attacking and advancing on, and they just leave their troops in their base where they're at then, and then start moving them at that time. They can have a fair war. Neither side's defending until they start attacking. They can both meet at front line, trenches, whatever they need. They can fight it out like that.
That's the problem though, because it kind of defeats the purpose of war, which is, take things by force.
Well,
So
that's
you
what
can't
they're
just
doing.
agree to not,
They're gonna agree to fight themselves. They just won't do it in a way that's a sneak attack, a surprise attack. They'll fight honorably, They'll both tell you, they're both gonna tell each other when they're gonna attack, how they're gonna do it, what time and date, and then from there the war starts.
I don't know how much
Yeah.
honor those sides have.
A lot of people don't like playing war as a game. They like playing it to kill people and get what they want. That's the
No,
problem.
That's the problem with religion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Makes sense.
that's not a problem. You know what I was gonna say is, the problem with religion, it's just too many people use it to justify bad things. It's like both sides think they're backed by God, but,
That's why you gotta let God sort them out. If they're both wrong, they'll both fall.
What's being justified? Bad thing being. Can you example something?
Are they both fighting for religious reasons in this war?
like war being justified, I think so.
It's more of a geopolitical. Well,
And they're fighting over like a holy.
actually, you're right on that one. They're definitely using their religion as a mask for the political gain.
I don't know about that. because
I'm almost sure of it.
Is that not what
I think
Elijah
that the
nations
gain
do?
is the Holy Land, Like,
I
I don't
know.
think they just want that for like economic development.
But you look at it. You look at the Jewish and the Islam. Both of them come from a line of stuff that says, "Don't be violent, be nice, be humble." So then this whole war thing. I disagree with your statement though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Alright.
I think a lot of terrorist groups, they use their religion for backing their wars and stuff. I mean, think about the people 9/11 and stuff like that. Those guys, they didn't even know what their Bible said. They just followed it blindly because that's what they did. They were just soldiers. That's all they were. They didn't really believe in what they said. Maybe a few did here and there, but most only believed in it blindly, and they lost. Their God wasn't backing them. Their God was wrong.
At its core, I think it's really interesting how, it's just, most of the Middle East is just Abrahamic religions, so I think it's pretty interesting how it's just one story and one message, and essentially just so many different versions of that are causing this many problems. Just people just interpreting it differently and all that. Pretty messed up.
Okay, let's move on from this, please.
Yeah.
We're
Pick
on
up
the
lines.
miscellaneous section now.
This gets
Yes.
devious. Whoever submitted some of these, your opinion should not be allowed within a school. You are a threat. You should remember that. You're a threat. Okay, when you walk down the school hallway, if I find out who's put some of these in here, I will avoid you. Okay, I will avoid you.
All right.
You walk down the hallway left, I'm walking back at right. Okay, I'm walking the other way. You go into a bathroom, I'm going to the other floor bathroom. You walk into the office, I'm leaving the building.
Okay.
I think that.
So we'll get to the one he's talking about. First, we have pickup lines, though. You have any witty quips?
I do not pull. I have to pick up lines. I didn't even try. Okay.
You got the classic, like, you text them, say, "Oh, you look beautiful," but you missed the "you," and then like you misspelled it. "Oh man, all it's missing is you," or something like that.
Yeah.
You got the corny ones, being a cornball. That's the easiest way.
I don't know about asking over text though. I don't know if that's the way to go.
In person's better. Cause like then if you do it in person, what can they say? They can just laugh it off. If you send them in a text, they can look and be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Snap their phone in half. Their eyes rot out of their head. Like there's no one there to help them.
In person's tough though, because you gotta find a time where they're just like, it sounds like a stalker, but you gotta find a time where they're like alone, like not talking to their friends or
Are
anything.
you a
Hey,
stalker?
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?
Like you can't just find a casual situation to ask that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Nah, you can. Nah. There's a place for that one right there. Say they're on a motorcycle, right?
Okay,
They fall off their bike and they're over here injured, right? You can walk around and be like, "Hey babe, you need help getting up? It looks like you just fell from heaven." The bikes are there on fire. They'll be like, "Help me." You're like, "Hey, I don't mind if I do."
I think that's a pretty specific situation though. That you
A very
gotta wait
specific
for.
situation.
Yeah, I feel like real pickup, like classic pickup lines, like picking up a girl quips, only work if you're hot. And let me explain why. Because there's no pickup line that is like going to make anyone like you. If it's corny and they think it's funny and they think you're cute, then it works. That's the only way. You have to have that factor about you. If they think it's corny and you're ugly, it's like,
Restraining order.
Yeah.
It's just some girls or guys, they don't all like the same things. It's like, some people like. Anyway, some people like something, some people like others. So it really just depends on who you're asking out based on what approach you use. Like whether you want to try and be corny or like try and act like impress them.
You just have to have a charisma about you for them.
Yeah.
And that comes with looks and like
No. The pickup lines, it's not even about looks and stuff, right? A good looking guy, he doesn't even pick at sometimes. You can just look over at them.
the unspoken
No.
words.
The pickup lines only work for a guy who's funny, okay? You can be as ugly as you want, but if you're known to be like a hilarious dude, you can get away with saying whatever you want. I mean, Blake, for example, he's hilarious, and he says everything all the time. He doesn't even care. He says anything. He ever just says skibbity riz, and I'm laughing because I don't know why that's funny, but when he says it, it is. If you're a funny guy, you're a funny guy. You can say whatever you want and get away with it.
Okay. Alright, we're moving on to the one that, I'm quite offended by it too. I know who sent this one in.
Who sent this one in? I need to know.
Has-
Which one of you diabolical persons need to be like subdued?
Has Evan ever had a crush? Deacon? That was Claire who sent that one in.
That's a very weird thing to put in, Claire. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Wow.
Do you have
naughty?
any comments?
Anyway,
No, I really don't care.
you can just say yes or no.
No,
You don't have
I
to
got
get-
nobody. I've never had a crush on anybody at our school.
At our school, anyone in general though.
No, you're all kind of mid.
Our class, we have me, Henry, Sam, Jason, and then 15 girls.
They're gonna watch this,
I didn't realize you had that many girls in your class. Oh, I'm gonna get blamed for this one.
Hey,
I stand by it.
for me at least though, alright, listen. I gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Are you ready? I know one of you watching this video, I've had a crush on you before. I'm not afraid to admit that. It was quite a while ago.
Oh.
I know who. I
You
won't
may,
say.
you may even know who you are.
Yo.
I mean, if we're being honest, middle school was kind of crazy, but
You can not good at
Oh my
hiding things.
goodness.
His face goes
when
red
was
in any
seasons?
situation.
when.
Anyway.
Hey, what about you, Henry?
Not in this class. I have not. 5th hour history. You know who you are. But yeah, once or twice. I'm not really gonna go into it, but yeah.
All right. Okay. I didn't really understand this one.
I've been to other schools, so I
It's-
can.
Oh, Evan and Deacon, what is your intake personally on this school compared to other schools?
Our school's a joke. Our cafeteria smells like bark every morning. Walk in there, trust me. After everyone leaves, walk in there from the all-purpose room. You cannot not smell it. It is disgusting. Okay.
And you're sure it's not the all-purpose room?
Oh no, I'm very sure. The all-purpose room smells like water damage. Our cafeteria in the morning smells like throw up. There is a big difference.
You got a nose like a bloodhound, man.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty good with my nose.
What does intake personally mean though? I don't really understand that.
Input, probably.
Like our intake, like what we've experienced, probably, you know, like because I've been to different schools in Washington, Morton. I can like tell you, like I compare those schools to our school now. You know, it'd be like for us, like comparing like the middle school from the high school, something like that. You know,
Yeah.
like my time in Morton, for example. I mean, it's a pretty chill place, you know. The school's cool. I mean, it's got a few floors to it. Pretty awesome. Their bathroom there, fun place to climb. They had a circular, for the elementary portion of it, they had a circular, like, giant water station thing you go up to. And it was pretty cool. The urinals and the doors in the bathroom there, the place looked like a prison. It was just all great. There's one little place where you could, like, roll up, like, balls and throw it over, and they disappeared into the cracks of the wall. Because there was like a wall and the thing behind it where no one knew where it went to. And people would just throw stuff up there. We never reached the top. A whole entire year we went throwing paper back there. We never saw it emerge once. It was there could be a kids back there for all we know. I mean, you could toss somebody up there and they would just keep falling. The cushion padding of our stuff would be the only reason they can, you know, get back out again after we throw them in.
You know, as many drugs and whatnot are at our school, you know, that's not even a huge problem. Like every school's got that.
That's true.
But at least we don't got litter boxes.
That's
the one thing, you know, it's the one thing I can be a little bit happy about. Not that there's anything wrong with necessarily being a furry, Evan.
I am not. I am not.
Hold on, I'm gonna get something real quick from Evan's garage.
Hey,
I'll be right
listen.
back.
Listen, the Rudolph one, right? The Rudolph one was for a Christmas party, okay? A Christmas party. That tiger one, right? I have a story for that one. That one was for.
This is Evan's garage. This is his.
I bench 170. I can find you. I know how to wrestle, right? Don't hit my car with that. Listen, I drive a Mustang too, so I'm better than you.
Sure.
That thing, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the Frosted Flakes tiger, right? Halloween. I love Frosted Flakes, okay? They're the best cereal. I went to dress up as that. I have a red tie upstairs to prove it. I got the white shorts and pants to go with it, okay? I dressed up as, like, Tiger Ted, I think that's his name, okay? I don't regret it. Look, I was, like, 10 when I did this. I was 10, okay?
You can be a furry whether it's Halloween or not. I accept you for it.
Listen, I'm not Kane, okay? I'm not Kane.
I
have standards, you know? I mean, listen, no, I can do this, right? This should prove my innocence here.
I don't think you're in frame, but he's doing a film right now.
No, what the
He
heck?
just hung from the rafters.
Listen,
by his
okay?
ankles.
Listen. I am better, okay? I am better. I just pulled something in my quads or whatever these things are called. I can feel that, like right here. Yeah, something just tore off the bone doing that stunt. But I am better.
Mad cool though. Like, you can gloves on.
I can never do that again.
Yeah.
I'm never pulling that one off again. Oh my goodness.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. Let's move on.
Neither do I. Let's not
Anyway.
remember that.
We have, where would the best hiding spot in the school be if you were to play a game of hide and seek?
I don't know if I want to
I
give
know
this
it.
away.
I know it. I know it too. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Actually, I can't give this one away. I know a spot that no one can find you, and there's a vent in that room too. And this is not the bathroom. I'll tell you that much. It's a vent big enough you can fit your entire body inside of, and it goes straight. You can put the vent cover back on it. No one will ever find you. It's a dark room. They'll never suspect a thing.
Have you done this before, Evan?
I'm not gonna say.
Is it the boiler room in the Spanish hallway?
It is not.
Really? That's what I expect like everyone's number one answer to be.
I'll tell you this right now. You can pick any floor you want to find this on. Good luck. You'll never find it. Have you ever played a game of hide and seek? I'll be there for days.
Yeah, I feel like that's a if we were to ever play like hide and seek with a bunch of people like in a good place like the whole school, I feel like I could go for a very long time without being found.
I could die in the walls and you'd never know.
Yeah, literally.
I can give you a hint though. If you're thinking, because it's the bathroom where the vent you can take off, I think it's the second floor bathroom under the sinks. The vent cover does in fact come off, and there's a giant tunnel to the right. And I don't know if it's to the left, I forgot. But to the right of that, right, once you go in, you can go all the way down there. You can put the vent cover back on from inside of there. Our school maintenance is awful.
I put my head in there before.
I assume
I
this
have
only-
gone in there before.
I assume this only applies to the boys' bathroom on the second floor.
Yes, the boys' bathroom is similar. Don't do this in the girls' bathroom. I've never been there. I can't prove this.
Maybe it works. I don't
Maybe
know.
it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that vent leads to the girls' bathroom. I don't know. I've never been into it
That
before.
would be pretty weird.
I've looked into it. It's never been into it before. Maybe.
Moving
It doesn't
on.
lead to the girls' bathroom. It
Okay.
doesn't lead anywhere. It's
Sure. Anyway,
So this one was actually by Mr. Beachy. His question was, who is the most famous man in history that you could beat in their prime?
almost any dictator, besides the Russian ones. I
But
think
most famous.
what Russian dictators could you take? Any of them?
probably not. I feel like living in such a cold, harsh environment, with all the struggle they have there. I mean, for one, Putin, bro, he's an assassin.
No, he's
Kill me.
he's like ripped, dude.
Yeah, no, he'd kill me. He'd
yeah.
kill me, okay? When they talk about him, when they talk about like Kim Jong Un, like riding unicorns and stuff, it's because Putin lent him his, okay? That man has probably wrestled toe to toe with grizzly bears for fun.
I think I could definitely. I think anyone can. I think anyone who is under 300 pounds could beat Kim Jong Un in a fight. Like
Yeah.
there's no way he hasn't had everything in life handed to him.
We gotta get like who's the most famous person in history. You know, I mean, we gotta go to the number one ultimate extreme
What's
for
the most
everything.
famous versus like infamous? Like each time has its own famous and most infamous person. But from like right now, from our looking back, we have people who everyone knows, right? But like, I mean,
I think
for their time, how well
I think
known were they?
the most famous in history are like Jesus and Muhammad. Those two are like.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna go toe to toe with either of them.
You know, I don't. Okay, so if Jesus isn't using like any divine powers or anything, do you think you could take him in a fight?
I don't think he'd try
No.
to beat you.
He would try to beat you. I couldn't find
Okay,
a man
but
who's not
if
gonna
you
fight
guys
back.
were like purely off his like physical like appearance, and
Listen, hear me out.
depiction.
He is a man who has walked a lot in his life. He has been up atop of mountains
He
to
does
look
cardio.
over the world. He can carry a giant heavy cross for a long distance, okay?
That's true.
I don't want to say anything here that's going to be bad,
Well,
but in a
well,
fight, he could take me. I'm just saying. He could
Technically-
probably knock me out. I'm not gonna
Technically,
say
the
that, but he
question
does.
says in his prime, so would that be right before he carried the cross? Because while he's carrying the cross,
That would be
he's,
true.
he's not really.
I feel like in his prime, yeah.
Yeah, I'd get a
I'm not
walk.
gonna-
I don't think I could.
We all live in modern times. We are prissy. You take anyone from the Middle East back then, they're squaring up with you.
Even the smallest drunk probably knows how
Yeah.
to throw a punch. I mean, you don't get away back then without knowing how to.
Okay, how about instead of fighting, how about like a sport or something like basketball, like one-on-one basketball versus like Jesus? I mean, like he's never seen basketball before, so you have an edge there, right?
Yeah,
Is
but
it
he's
just-
also seen everybody
Yeah,
since, right?
is
Think
it
about
just his physical form, or is it actually Jesus?
Like, think about it like this.
Well,
No, hear me out,
it
hear me out.
depends on what his motivation is, because he's not going to use like divine
Yeah.
powers if it's just like a one-on-one pickup game, you know?
That's understandable.
So it depends.
Think about it though. Think about it like this. If he has seen everybody's sins, right? Imagine this for a second. How many games of basketball played where somebody did something bad, said something that they should have,
Well,
hit somebody,
was it
thrown somebody because they got angry? He's gonna see that, and for a quick glimpse, he's gonna see basketball.
was it
I
everyone-
guarantee he can throw like a pro.
Mhm.
LeBron, he's garbage compared to him. He's seen it all. He knows every play. You go for an underhand dribble. Oh look, you have no hands. It's in his hands now. You're getting dunked on. How tall was he exactly? He was probably as tall as he felt like me. You're losing.
The thing is, I don't know if he saw everyone's sins from the future. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a biblical
Past-
scholar.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah, he saw everybody. He repented for all of them.
Okay, so he should have like infinite knowledge then, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
he is the
that's-
son of God. It would make sense. He should,
So
or whatever knowledge he feels like having that he's given by his father.
okay, but that said, he's never played basketball, and we have, so he doesn't know like if I
That's such a
So-
that's such a question.
yeah,
Like, does that equate to physical conditioning?
because like he doesn't have the muscle memory to like shoot a 3-pointer. You know, like I've shot a 3-pointer before.
Yeah,
That's
then
He
again,
hasn't, so.
we're also forgetting the fact that he can walk on water.
Well,
I mean-
there's no water in basketball courts.
No, but
He's walking under sweat. You sweat.
He
He's
just-
jumping up on that.
that goes. Is he using divine power? Because he can just make it happen.
Yeah, he could. When it comes to him, if he's trying to fight you fair 1v1, how strong is he really? Do we really know? I mean, he'd be as strong as he wants to. How strong is he to endure the mental toughness that he would have had to, like the mental strength? You gotta be a pretty tough man to do that. Whether he had biblical powers or not. I mean, the stories of him make him sound like a pretty tough
I
person.
mean, if he was using biblical power, then it's like, I mean, knowledge is one thing, but if he was actually like, trying his very hardest, or else like, nothing exists anymore. In that case, like, he could honestly just think about something happening and it would happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So say some guy, just some random guy that was in Jesus' build from the Middle East. I think I could beat him in a game of basketball.
Yeah.
They don't know the basic strategies.
Okay, but then if they had like infinite knowledge though, and they'd seen every game of basketball that ever gone down, but never actually.
But
played
they're not going to use any power. He
What
said,
what's that's the only power that they use though.
But here's the issue.
That's
Then I don't know.
The mental
Right.
capacity to remember something. Think about it. They don't need to know how to play the game. They see it, they know how to work it. They can look at somebody's arms, the angle. You can mimic that. Sure, you have to get the shot right, but after one throw, maybe two, they're gonna know how. How hard is it to put a ball
well,
between
if
your
you can
legs
see,
and
if
still?
you can see the opponent's moves, but that still doesn't stop them. Like if you bring Curry versus someone like if you bring Prime Curry and he goes, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go left, then I'm gonna go back right. I'm gonna take half a step and shoot a three. He can tell you that, and he's still gonna do it to you. Like
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Those people he versed probably have been awful.
I think if you've never played a game of basketball in your life, I don't think. I mean, against me, probably not. But against like an average high school basketball player, I'd say high school is probably gonna.
I don't know. I think it's a chance, With infinite knowledge, I mean, do you really have to have the physical memory to do that? If you're physically fit, you have all the knowledge in the world and clearly a good memory if you can remember everything that's ever happened. I don't think it really matters how good you are at basketball as, really just, I mean, how much do you have to learn? You have to learn how to play the game. You know all the tricks in the book. I mean, you get the ball, it's over. You dribble a few times, you're gonna remember how that dribble feels, and you can mimic that forever. Then you shoot one shot, it misses. You know how that feels. You know how to avoid it.
back to the question.
Yeah.
The most famous person in history you could beat in their prime. I think the elephant in the room is definitely Hitler. He's
Yeah.
really famous, but
I mean, honestly, any adult male
yeah, in his prime,
in
you
his
gotta
prime,
think. Because we
yeah.
think Hitler, he was pretty.
He was a soldier, though. That's the issue we're forgetting here.
Prime Hitler, yeah, he would definitely sweep me.
Like, we're talking prime as a dictator or prime as a soldier. I mean, that man, he was a war hero. For Germany, of course. Awful man, but for Germany, he was a war hero. He survived in jail, right? It was the leader of a country. This man, in his prime, had to have been mentally and physically pretty tough. At the very least, I don't want to fight a crackhead.
Hear me out though. Stephen Hawking, his entire life, he was paraplegic.
Yeah, no.
He was pretty famous. I'm sorry, man.
No, there's some massive nerds like Mary Curie. I could take her in a fight. I guess Albert Einstein's more famous.
But
in his
Albert
prime,
Einstein, he's just
though,
some guy. Like, he can still beat me. I'm not.
I don't think I could take the average man in a fight.
Yeah, neither do I. We were boxing before at Eureka Lake. I can't box. I can't even, we can't do nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I say Stephen Hawking. That's my answer.
Well, I feel like there's an easy way out of this, Like Diogenes, he was, I guess, not as famous as Stephen Hawking. Is there someone that's more famous than Stephen Hawking that's not,
A philosopher could beat you.
No, because Diogenes specifically, he was like a homeless
Okay.
man and he lived in a barrel.
That is fair. He was homeless.
So probably not in great.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude though.
He
He's
had
a
an
cool dude.
interesting way of showing people he was unhappy.
Yeah, he did.
We're not gonna get into that.
Oh, I love that guy. That was
Anyway,
Alright, that's the last of the miscellaneous section. And I'm gonna check if that's still recording.
cool. Oh yeah, check it out.
Alright. And now we're on to the questions. Alright. So the first one, would you rather uncontrollably break into song or unexpectedly lose your voice? I assume at random times.
How long though would you lose your voice for? Would it be like a quick thing or a short thing?
Say like you're trying to say something and then for that until someone like, you good? Like what's going on? It's out.
You could find a way to string that into like something like a weird like mental disorder thing or like a physical disability for something that you could use. Uncontrollably singing, you'd be branded as weird.
I say you sing until someone tells you to stop.
I think there's more situations where I need to be like silent than when I need to be, saying something.
Yeah.
And it's way more inconvenient if you're like, I work in a warehouse. If I'm in a warehouse with like 6 other people and I just start singing randomly and someone has to like yell at me to stop, that'd be pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Do you know the muffin man? It's like, what song is it gonna be? Like, is it songs you listen to, or is it just gonna be
Or
like?
is it just your words that you sing get turned into a melody? Like you're just
Oh,
talking
wait.
normally, like
Oh.
start talking in a rhythm that
That
makes
would
your
be weird.
voice, Like you start talking in like a weird rhythmic pattern. It wouldn't be a song, it would be a weird rhythmic pattern. Because I mean, how can you mimic like a drum or something? It would just have to be words, right?
Yeah, dude. Can you pass me that pencil?
That would be pretty awful.
Yeah.
Just over here like in the middle of your funeral, like you start like singing like because you're crying, bro.
Like you're the best man or something. You're giving a speech. See, I've known this guy for so long. Like you're gonna think you're an idiot.
Oh,
Oh, that would be pretty good.
I would lose my voice.
You know, like go to obnoxious, you're like, no, I can't sing for anything. What am I trying to say? Trying to like sing?
I don't know.
No, I can't.
This one's a classic. Would you rather know how you die or when you die?
When I die. That way I can plan, because I know I'm gonna die then. It doesn't change.
Yeah, I think
One,
that.
there's a saying. One often meets his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it.
That is fair.
So if you know when you're gonna die, you're probably gonna do it to yourself. Unless you die, I don't know. I feel like if you have to actively try to ignore it to know when. I'd rather know when I'm gonna die.
I would also like to know when I'm gonna die. Because the thing is that like, we learned about like game theory that one day. And it's like, that turns it into a finite game no matter what. Like I know exactly what I'm trying to do by what time, I can do that. Like if I'm gonna die by the time I'm 20, then I'm going to, like freaking withdraw my entire college fund and just go partying for, the short time I have left. So, how I die, that's more of a curse though, Like then you're
Yeah.
always like,
Mhm.
you have like PTSD, like shark attack. Every time you see a shark, you're like,
Yeah. I'd rather know when I die because like I've got those letters. Like if you're reading this, I'm dead.
oh
Like I want to know when I have to get these things done by.
yeah.
But if it's like set in stone for when you die or how you die, that's pretty fun. Like you know when you're gonna die and it's set in stone. You can live without fear. It'd be like that. What was that one guy in Greek, right? Who knew when he was gonna die from like the fables, so he didn't fear death. He'd go out into battle and do whatever he wants. 'Cause he knew he wouldn't die. Arrows rained down from the sky, and he could stand there walking forward. He wasn't gonna die to it. That'd be amazing.
Actually, yeah, because you would
Think
technically,
of it. I could do anything.
wouldn't you be like invincible until that point then?
Yeah.
Basically,
But
right?
wait,
You
well,
jump from a
imagine
building, you break a leg. You still live, though.
Yeah,
you don't
but
die from that.
Like
You
you're
don't
like
win,
like I know I'm gonna die when I'm 80. That's cool. And then like when you're 20, I can do whatever I want. Get hit by a car and you're until you're 80.
Yeah, if you're
like
yeah.
But think about it, like you can't ever die. What's stopping you?
Mhm.
Any war, you're the best soldier. You know when you're gonna die. You're gonna die in 20 years from then. They put you on the hardest mission. Do you want to go assassinate somebody? They can put you in the street with a gun and you could get away with it.
You know what's interesting? That would break a lot of thermodynamics because if you were to, like separate your brain cells enough, that you couldn't reasonably have electrical signals between them, there would still have to be, electricity between your brain cells.
Well,
And that would lead to, infinite energy.
well,
right?
then that's a paradox though, because if you know when you're gonna die and you try to kill yourself, it just doesn't work like that. It knows what you're gonna do, no matter what you do.
Something would stop you then.
Like it knows you're not really going to.
I feel like you can only go so far though with that before you like.
If the person
I don't know. It kind of depends on the nature of the prophecy.
yeah, you gotta know if this person was it just knows if it would. Oh, I'm gonna die when I'm 80. I'm jumping off a cliff. Then it won't give that person that. It would give them 30,
Yeah,
something
that's
lower.
true,
You
that's
know.
true.
Well, that depends.
Well, yeah, but then if it's 30, then you're not gonna jump off. the
If
cliff.
it is like a prophecy we're
pretty
talking,
nice.
it's set in
Yeah.
stone or something like time travel, how that works, right? If it's something that's just set in stone, like you're gonna die here no matter what you do in your life, then you don't have to worry about it. Like the guy from Greek, I forgot his name, which kind of sucked. He's a cool dude, but say like it's like anything could happen. Like you're gonna die here. Like if it talks about like when you're gonna die naturally, like this is what your natural age would be, but you can still die anywhere from here. Like you're gonna die here naturally unless you die sooner. Then that's different. But if it's like a hard, like set in stone, this is when you die. Does not matter what you do. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you jump off a cliff, you're gonna get saved by probably some really big bird goes by. Maybe the mountain falls as you jump off and push into your landing. You might break a rib, but somebody comes and saves you. Maybe you have the strength to walk back still. Maybe the mountain falls apart as you jump down, and the wave of rocks drags you to the nearest city, and you get medical help.
Anyway, I'm gonna try that one out.
Yeah.
If you knew you had one more day to live, what would you spend the day doing?
I would drive. I would just pick a direction. I'd buy like a nice car. I'd just drive, just fast.
I think I'd talk to the people I know. I'd talk to my family. I make sure I had everything like what I wanted in order. Because when I die, I just want to be I want to be stereotypically Doug in a coffin, not a casket, 6 feet under, just like with a fence in the woods, and just like so some kid stumbles upon it one day and finds a gravestone. Like so, I want that set up. I want to talk to my family, have them come to terms with it. Talk to my friends, let people know like my last feelings, like.
Yeah, I'd write a note, but other than that, yeah.
I'd record myself. I'd want people to know how I died. It was just a random thing. Like I was told by somebody I was gonna die that day, I'd record myself. I want there to be proof that I died that day and what actually happened. I don't want people to have to speculate how I died if I died randomly. Say I died from a heart attack, like chalk that up to anything. Caffeine, I mean, it's what I take a lot of. I haven't taken a lot of that anymore, but like you chalk up to that. Say I get in a car crash. There's a proof, I didn't crash a car, somebody else crashed a car on purpose. I mean, I'd record it. I'd sit in a room and I'd just keep talking, until I died. We'll find out what I died from,
Interesting.
Definitely.
Which one did you erase there?
I had some doubles.
Oh.
Would you rather be born into the past or the future?
Hmm.
And then the next question that was someone else's, or same person, was what year?
I'd say future, because there's a chance that we find out something fundamental about the universe, and by that point, it brings a whole new shade over life. So I'd rather do the future.
You overjump it though.
Well, sucks to suck.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the past because, I could play off the things I already know. I could get money. I could be successful and all that. But I have an obsession with history. I don't know if anyone could tell. And not just big events, but I go into the woods area behind my house and I see stuff. I'm like, how did this get here? I just want to see it. I want to experience. I'm also obsessed with the 60s. I'm obsessed with the Old West, with the mountain men. I just love the prospect of those older things, and I love to be there just to see it.
Yeah. I think one thing is they've been pretty romanticized, so obviously it's not gonna be exactly how you see it. And if you're actually born that year and you don't actually have prior knowledge, it's just gonna be life. It's not gonna be novel at all. And another thing is, I think we're just always living through history, as we speak. So it's I mean, there's already like cause and effect going on. Like, how'd that thing get here? Like, there's already, causes of different things being in different places happening all at once. So,
There's an issue.
I'd say future.
There's an issue with this. If you go into the past, right, you change what the future is going to be from that point on if you do anything that wouldn't align with it. So you have to live by their standards. Like, say you go and write down a bunch of like scientific formulas that they haven't discovered yet. Put them in a cave. Put them on like a get a sword and engrave it in there, and then hide it in the water somewhere, right? You could create new things. You would have like a very big impact on the world, and I think there's a really good way in that. If you go to the past, right? If you go really, really far back before certain things could ever been invented, and you find a way to like store them so it would be in the future, like where something's gonna be found in the future. So you get like the dinosaur bones where it's gonna be. You kill the dinosaur, you put your stuff, right stuff in its bones. It fossilizes. They have that then later, and it's gonna change so much. Then
Yeah.
You go into the future, you can't change anything then from the past. You're then set in stone as you would be now. The only difference is you're gonna be lost. You're not gonna know what's up. Money's gonna be worthless probably. I mean, you go too far in the future, you're gonna die of starvation because every country's probably nuked each other.
Well,
You go in like in the medium, maybe they won't have discovered what you're hoping they discover, and now you're just an average person again in the future with less knowledge because hopefully they're smarter.
well, the thing is, we're talking about boredom. We're not talking about time traveling. So I don't know if that implies you'd have all of your current
Oh, yeah, that's
knowledge
true.
in the time that you traveled to.
Yeah, if you're just born, I'd rather be born in the past. I'd die with honor on the field of the night.
I think my values are being degraded from society as we go on. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just a media thing, but I don't know. I still think I'd rather go to the past because I think things were simpler. Not easier, not even easier. I think things were just simpler. And I like that.
Makes sense.
Wait a second. If you're born though in the future, right? That means people would have to exist, like theoretically, right? So that means that time for humans would always be existent, and that every human could never be fully killed. So would that change anything then? Like, say a giant nuclear war went over, and everyone died, right?
That's what year?
But then somebody would have to, but what year?
Wait.
Well, how far could you go? You could go into the trillions, millions away from here, where we would have to have evolved, or we would all would have died. So theoretically, if you just keep going into the future, like you pick the furthest number that you can possibly think of, that means humans would have had to exist, or maybe they re-evolved again if that was true. Maybe they were placed back on the Earth by a bigger entity. That would, if you were given the chance, in theory, if you just took the biggest number and threw yourself into it, you could then make sure everybody in the past where you're at right now, their futures would be secure then, up until the point where which you are born, then people would have had continued to survive. There'd be no way for it to end. You could never overjump it.
That once again breaks, some laws of physics, because theorizing now that the universe is going to evolve into, just a collection of atoms.
This is your fault. You're breaking the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. Because it's, as the universe expands, right, atoms get farther and farther apart, and so eventually not even atoms, but quarks, like things that make up atoms, are even farther and farther apart until nothing happens, nothing interacts with each other. So eventually, if you're born in that time period when it's already happening, like after black hole dies or whatever,
No, think about it.
then
If black holes keep getting bigger, they can consume each other and get bigger with gravitational pull. That means the further things get pulled apart, if the black holes keep getting bigger, then they can keep things. There has to be a point, right, in which nothing can move further away because the gravitational pull matches what it is, right?
Unfortunately, that's not how black holes work.
I have no idea how any of this
Well,
works.
there's a gravitational pull too that gets bigger and can suck things in.
No,
Then
black
you-
holes degrade over time, they don't get bigger, unfortunately.
For the question,
How did they get there then? How did they get there?
Too much mass in one spot. We don't know, essentially. But
Yeah.
we only have theories and they're
Density
shaky.
thrown into
at
black
best.
holes, right? Thinking
Yes.
if the universe is expanding, do black holes move as well, or do they stay where they're at? Because if they stay where they're at, things can go into them.
Nothing stays. Well, we don't really have a universal point to judge by which things stay where they're at. Because essentially, from a black hole's perspective, they do stay where they're at, but everything else around them moves. So
So if they stay where they're at, say a bunch of planets like hit a black hole, then they all turn into more mass, and that could create a bigger black hole.
Well,
Because it's
You know, the thing
mass
is-
condensed. They could work as a safety net to keep all mass in. By taking it, the black hole gets big, decays. Those create galaxies in from the mass that's been dispersed after it dies.
the thing is, time and space are theoretically infinite, and those are the things that kill black holes, but matter isn't. And that's what would be keeping them alive.
I don't think we really know what we're talking about.
No, we don't.
I know.
Being honest. Henry, I think. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah,
we might be getting a little bit too far.
Back to
out.
what year? Hear me out on this. 1945. I'd be born then. Here's what happens, right? I'm born in 1945. My mom, she lost 2 uncles in the war. She's gonna spoil me because she knows life is valuable. I'm gonna grow up my kid years until so by the time 1960 rolls around, I'm 15. My kid years are in the 50s. And my teen years are in the 60s. Listen, to be a teenager in the 60s and be able to afford a car like the ones they have, oh my gosh. Right? By the time the 70s roll around that is the prime time to be a working adult, is the 70s.
I'm gonna kill you right here.
Why?
It says born. It doesn't say where. You could be born anywhere.
You could be born in the
You're
bottom.
not gonna be born in the U.S.
You could be born in the bottom of the ocean, Deacon.
born.
Then what?
Deacon, you could be born in Russia or someplace
Be
that's
born in
poor.
Cambodia.
How do you know they're gonna
Gosh.
spoil you? You could be born somebody who's broke. You could be born somebody who's rich. You don't know.
I'm gonna feign ignorance and say I'm in the United States.
Okay, say we're in the United States, right?
So I'm 70. I'm a working adult. In the 70s. In the 70s. I'm a working adult. You know, I know what's gonna get big. Microsoft gonna get huge pretty soon. They're gonna start making stuff. I invest in that. By the time I'm like 40 in the 90s, I'm already a millionaire because of my investments in Microsoft. I invest in Apple, Bitcoin, all these things. I retire in the early 2000s at about 60. How old is that? 40s, yeah, about 60s, in my 60s. I retire with millions of dollars in the 2000s.
Broski, if you go to 2020, by the time you're 80, if you have millions of dollars to invest in Bitcoin, you're gonna be the richest person on planet Earth.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
The issue is, what if you invest in a bunch of Bitcoin? What
Bitcoin
if it didn't
crashes and then it doesn't work.
Yeah. What if something that you did then, because if you were to know that was gonna happen, what if all your investments led to the country getting bigger than the people at the time were able to handle? Because it was a slow progression of how they got bigger, right? If they got bigger all at once, what if they didn't know what to do? What if the guys who were running Microsoft or stuff like that, or Amazon even, what if they got all this money at once and thought, I should just retire now? Sure, they're ambitious, they're gonna try and get their country bigger, but what if they didn't need to then? What if they're set the people in Bitcoin, right? They're just there for the money. They don't care what they're doing.
Yeah.
They get big right away. They're gonna be like, oh, hey, I guess we can stop now. Especially when their country, or not country, their thing hits the first dip they hit, right? They're gonna think, oh well, guess this is gone. Move to the next scam. Why not start it?
Yeah.
Why not start it yourself if you know it's gonna happen? Why not learn how to do it yourself then? You'd make even more money. Investing's a good strat, but unless these events are set in stone, and even though you're born back then, you can't change the future. Then, if that's not set in stone, you better do it yourself then,
Yes.
that's how I would love to be in a Groundhog Day situation where it's just like a time loop over and over again. Because essentially, you would just become the god of that world. You would know everything. You'd be able to do, anything. You will have done everything. But then again, you run out of things to do eventually. So it would be nice for, a full human lifespan. But if we're talking infinite time, then it stops doing that. So.
That'd be pretty fun though.
Definitely interesting.
Think about it, living forever is the best thing ever. Sure, you might get sad knowing that everyone's gonna die someday, but if you could live forever in an infinite loop of time, no one would ever die, you get all the benefits of living forever. You can do whatever you want. As long as you can get to it within a 24-hour period.
You could break
You'd be
you could break and follow every moral code in an infinite number of ways and know it's not gonna matter in a Groundhog Day situation.
What if
I don't think it's really infinite though, Because it's really, really, really big, but if time's infinite, then the amount of things.
We're going back into this theoretical area.
Hear me out.
I don't think so. I purposely avoided that.
Hear me out.
But
What about if we're talking about time, right? How it's infinite? what if, because your time resets, which shouldn't be possible, what if instead of your time resetting, you're just brought to a different place in time where that event is happening again and you're free to do whatever you want because you won't die? What if you're just like trading consciousness with other versions of yourself in that time repeatedly? What if all those events have already happened and you've moved on, but one consciousness keeps going to the next one over and over again? So, like, theoretically, you're not like reverting in time. You're living every single possible time in that life of the event you would have done anyway, or could have done. Say you thought, walk down the street, for example. You see a rock on the floor, you can decide to kick it or not kick it. Whatever you do, changes to what you do next. Maybe you kick it again, maybe you don't. Maybe you kick it all the way into an alleyway and get robbed. Maybe you don't. Maybe you walk past that alleyway. It's just what's happening there. You're stuck in one place in time. Every decision you could do in that possible chance goes like that. If the conscious keeps trading over, you'll know what you've done already and what you haven't done. That means that people from that time move on. So you kill somebody, once you switch conscious at the end of the day, that person's dead still in that time, but time keeps going. You can have an infinite amount of time to think and ponder everything possible, and then you could give that knowledge all to one person at once and help every time.
You wrote physics again.
I've thought about that so much.
I thought about it all at once here.
Time is the one thing that like gives us the opportunity to do that. Time is the thing that gives us the opportunity to exist, but it's also the thing that stops it. Which is really weird. And I want to move on because
Yeah,
I don't.
please.
It's too far gone.
Yeah.
There we
Too
go.
many
Really
Alright,
things.
this is a good one. Whether serial killers should get the death penalty / should we bring the death penalty back?
Yes. Yes, we should.
And
yes, they also should.
Honestly, listen, if Jeffrey Dahmer goes out and kills my mom or my someone, I don't know, and then they're like, oh, well, we don't kill people, everyone needs a second chance, and then he goes into jail for 45 years and he gets out while I'm still alive, I'm gonna lose my crap.
It's all
We
decided.
can have life in prison though. Like he would have gotten a life in prison.
Life in prison
Life
is
in
too
prison,
good, though.
he's, like,
That's torture, then.
listen, yeah, like, that's cruel to him, too.
Yeah.
Like, even though I don't,
What would you rather have to choose?
Yeah, let him choose. If he wants to stay alive, let him always have the choice to have the death penalty. Don't force it upon them. If they want to live life in prison, let them. Maybe they'll choose death themselves and it won't be as much of a burden then.
The problem is, then you are literally introducing assisted suicide, and there's some people that live worse lives than prisoners, and so then should we bring assisted suicide into the whole nature of society?
That could be an issue with that. Those people who are already on the verge of suicide for assisted, but if they kill somebody, then that way they can get the death penalty. That is another possibility of what would happen. That's the issue though, is this. Why should we bother? I mean, if they want to commit suicide so badly, why would they kill another person to get it? That'd be silly of them. In that case, they need help. If they really want to commit suicide, they're just gonna do it. You can disappear easily in a day. You got a car, drive into a tree. I mean, you don't need to have, you wouldn't need to do anything. Assisted suicide is a joke. If you can't do it on your own, then why do you need someone else to help you with it? I mean, that's silly. If you're too afraid to do it, then just don't do it. If you don't want to jump off a bridge for bungee jumping or something, you're not gonna do it. Can't do it. I mean, suicide's a joke.
no.
That's just a way to get people to kill themselves.
I don't think we can talk about this. If I'm being
No, I
honest
know.
with you.
We might cut this.
But
We
We're
won't.
not gonna cut this.
We're not gonna
going back to
this
the
is
death
too
penalty,
deep.
going back to the death penalty, I feel like if you kill someone on purpose, you are basically saying their life doesn't matter enough for them to exist. And when you do that, I say you forfeit your life being valuable when you
Yeah.
take someone else's.
No, but the thing is, then by that logic, you are becoming the person who is taking another person's
I'm
life.
not killing them. The court is. It's the court of law. The court is not never. Definitely not never.
So-
OJ. But yeah, the court. It's not. They're not the ones killing them. The executioner is just flipping the switch. You
Yeah,
know?
but they're still liable for killing that person. I think the only way to justify this isn't with their life wouldn't be valuable anymore. Because, I mean, no life is, really. Every life can serve a purpose, whether that be just fuel for a fire or not. I mean, every life has a purpose no matter what. It's the one thing you can confidently say you can inherit, is a purpose in life. I mean, even if you live in, like, a freezing climate, I mean, you die, you're fuel for somebody else's fire. Food, I mean, you can use a purpose out of everything, even if it is morbid. But, like, if they kill somebody, it depends on what they kill them for. We're talking about serial killers. Like somebody's wife cheats on them, they get angry and like hit them or something, and they accidentally die. Sure, they kill them, but I mean their life is forfeit. We're talking about serious who have killed multiple people, right? Like sick people for fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like those people, yeah, put them down.
Uh,
I mean, put them down.
All right. I don't want to go.
You know, like a podcast.
Yeah.
Just,
All right.
let's let it all go, you know? Beginning to
We are on to. We'll see. We are on to the last category, and this one is titled Survival by me. And the prompt was just zombie apocalypse, spelled incorrectly, by the way. I don't know who did that. APPOCOLIPS. Right now, I copy and pasted that. I did not spell it wrong. That was not me.
Also, Purge doesn't have a D in it, but yeah.
Okay. So, the prompt was just zombie apocalypse, spelled wrong. So I don't know
what type though? What type?
are we
Walking
talking
Dead
World
style?
War Z or what? Walking Dead?
I mean, let's be honest, if it's a dead human, it's gonna, like, you know, die anyway. It's already dead. It's just gonna, you know, slowly deteriorate. All The Walking Dead is just immortal people that can't die unless they lose their brain, really, because they're already rotting away. They have no blood, no nothing.
I
Can't work it.
I think the thing that really doesn't make sense to me about The Walking Dead is that, like, in the first, I've only seen like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
In the first episode, Rick Grimes, or maybe second, I don't know, he gets into a tank though, and he's like safe for a while, but there's dead people in the tank. Like, how did they die? How did the military get overrun in a tank? It's like there's zombies. Their fingers are like, ugh. How'd they do anything?
The zombies in Walking Dead though are unnaturally strong. Like they're dead. Their tendons are missing. Their bones are broken. They're not gaining any muscle. They can only get weak once they're bitten and turned into a zombie. They get no stronger. They shouldn't be able to. It doesn't work, but they do. So, you know, it shouldn't work unless the reason they're so strong is simply because the mind's dead. There's no limiting factor. Your body's limiting factors on it naturally, preventing you from overstressing and hurting yourself. It's why Eddie Hall had to like get himself hypnotized basically to hit that deadlift he did. Because you have limiting factors. Your body puts out only the strength you need. Without your mind working to tell you not to, you probably have a lot more strength than normally. You're fighting simply for food and survival at that point because you're dead. So they don't have that limiting factor.
That's a good point. Something that people also don't bring up is when someone gets bitten and turned into a zombie, there's gonna be like a 2-day period where they just kind of look like a person, not a zombie, because they haven't started.
They turn pale though when they die.
I know when people die though, they're just like pale and stuff, but they don't look like a zombie. So that's really freaky to me. They just look like themselves, but like sickly pale.
The zombies though, their eyes like turn to like cataracts, like they can't see. They don't have like any functionality. They just like groan and growl because that's all their brain can do. I mean, you can tell too, when people die, they like deflate almost. They lose a ton of weight. So that you could tell who a zombie is. They could still walk and walk. Maybe from far away you wouldn't, but you notice somebody standing still or walking awkwardly because they don't have the brain functions anymore. They have very limited functions. Well, let's talk about like World War Z zombies. And that's a different issue right there. You're not living. That's not a zombie apocalypse. That's just you're gone. You're part of the zombies in the apocalypse.
I've never seen Walking Dead or World War Z.
World War Z zombies can run and climb walls. They can get helicopters.
They climb on each other. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they also avoid random people.
They don't avoid random people. They avoid the sick people. If you're sick, they don't get you because they think you're part of the infected. Walking Dead zombies are slow, shambling zombies that don't move very fast, and frankly, it's kind of silly that they can sneak up on so many people. The fact that Walking Dead zombies, the fact that they could take over the military, shouldn't be possible. That shouldn't be possible.
I definitely.
World War Z zombies, like, yeah, no, I could see them killing the military off. You get one person infected in a big city, that city's gone. You miss even one of them and you're gone. The only way to survive is if you get sick, and you can't be sick forever unless you have a way to permanently make yourself sick forever.
The thing is, in any situation, I mean, I haven't seen World War Z, but in like any situation like that, you just get to an island far away enough, and you're just like chilling, you know?
Other creatures can have zombies.
Can they?
I mean, think about it. Why wouldn't they go there?
Well,
it infects their brain,
we're
right?
based off the movies, right?
Yeah. They don't infect other things, do they? They bite things and kill deers and stuff like that, but they haven't infected any. I don't know about World War Z.
I think the Last of Us zombies make the most sense.
The cordyceps one, the fungus, yeah.
Yeah, because like it already basically happens.
It does for ants and
You know,
other things.
It would make more sense if the zombies just ate everything though, and not just people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
do the Walking Dead. They eat deers, everything.
Well, yeah, in The Walking Dead they even do that, but
How do they catch deer? It's beyond me.
I don't know. Yeah, like
They ain't that fast.
you ever tried to catch a deer before?
Yeah. You know, people don't run that fast. And those Walking Dead zombies, they shamble.
Well, why do they eat at all? You know, like what's their motivation?
Hunger. It's like, you know,
Well, do they die if they don't get food?
zombies just eat to eat. They consume. It's
shit.
like the lizard brain, you know? They're
Well-
going off simple, basic functions.
In that case, shouldn't they be eating like plants too?
Plants, I mean, they don't know what plants are safe, probably. You don't know what you can
Well, I don't think
It's
So
care
if they
what
Henry,
they
simply-
Henry.
It's theoretical.
It's zombies.
Yeah.
All right, they're not really following too many logic rules.
Okay, now that I get into the conversation, we start following logic. Sure.
Listen, zombies
I
are
said we're not following logic here.
We start not following logic. Yeah.
You already were.
I mean, the most logical thing a zombie is like the cordyceps virus with the fungus. Say that evolves from being like ants to small insects to people. I mean, that's the most logical one. Even that's kind of silly. Because the main issue in that game isn't even zombies, it's people. Right?
Yeah.
I think it was probably like the question was supposed to be how do you survive like a zombie apocalypse?
Ooh, that's an easy one. Stay away from
But
big
yeah,
cities.
literally just like find an island
Yeah.
somewhere.
Not an island, no, not an island. You'll starve there. Water around you is salt water. You'd have to find a way to decontaminate it. You
Listen,
have a lot of supplies with you to begin with.
Actually,
listen, you just go to the south, right? You go to the deep south. You find a good neighbor, a nice place. All of your neighbors have guns, and they'll protect you. Like,
No.
you run out of ammo eventually.
No, Deacon, you go up someplace cold. The colder you are, with no protection on, they'll freeze up there. They won't even be an issue. Go
Wait,
somewhere like
wait.
Antarctic, right? You're not going to see zombies. People up in Antarctica, the only way they're going to hear about zombies is from the news. And once that gets off, they're in the dark. They won't know what's going on.
oh, you go to like Alaska. Think about it. You go to a cabin in Alaska, like Chris McCandless style. There is even able-bodied people. They couldn't walk there because they get killed by a bear. They get killed by, tripping and falling to their death. Like you go to where Chris McCandless was, you got 2 rivers surrounding you. You're safe there.
Yeah.
I think you guys are overlooking the whole island thing.
No, we aren't. The islands are horrible.
What?
size.
Hold on.
How big of an island are we talking?
Hold on. Literally any size that doesn't have zombies, like New Zealand or Australia, if there's no zombies there, you're chilling.
There are zombies there.
But like
Australia,
there's people. If it's like an infection thing, there's people there.
Yeah,
Okay,
if there's
They've been
people
around.
on the
There's
island.
islands that are, kilometers wide.
But how
that
much resources
don't-
do you have to bring? How much food? You have to wait for
You
your
don't
garden
even
to
have
grow
anything.
each year.
You don't have to farm for food, you can fish. Literally, you can
What
fish.
about the water?
Yeah, what if the fish are contaminated by a zombie pathogen?
Yeah, what about the water? The blood in the water from other zombies. What if it goes
Okay,
over
well,
you?
if the fish are contaminated, then everything else is going to be contaminated too.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
then
fair.
you're just screwed either way.
That's why the survival food comes into play.
Okay, so
That's why you have to have canned food, stuff like that. It's why if you were in a zombie apocalypse where it was spread by like saliva, blood, you couldn't do anything. If it's one where no matter how you die, you turn into a zombie as well, and that's not an issue because you're already infected. What would be the reactant would be what is in their saliva, which is how they turn. Or when you die, it takes over your brain, and the saliva is just a poison, like a snake, like Walking Dead. That would make sense then, because you could survive on an island, sure, just not for long, because you run out of water.
I
Unless you
think,
brought the supplies and a boat, boats deteriorate, you're stuck on the island, your boat dies.
I think at that point I just stopped trying to survive if I can only eat canned food because I
I'd
don't
have
care
a
about
field
like,
day.
I don't care about living that much, dude. Like I don't.
I would have a field day, okay? Zombie apocalypse starts and I am absolutely breaking stuff, okay?
I had a dream about it once, right? And we went to Missouri. We went to our place in Missouri, and it was like, we're safe here. But then it was like,
We're doing a podcast right now.
I know.
Somebody get this man some Adderall. Anyway, Missouri.
But then it was like, hey, wait a minute. There's zombies. This is forever. This kind of sucks.
Mhm.
At first I was like, heck yeah, man. I've been waiting for this to happen forever, Video games. But then it was like, it was in a dream too, which made it more surreal. It was like, wait a minute. We can't go back. We're done. It was like it was a bit more freaky.
How fun would it be though? Like, sure, once you pass the whole you're killing people part, it'd be pretty fun. No government, no one to stop you. You can see the world whatever you want. As long as you're fast on your feet, you can do anything you want. There's nothing stopping you. It's just like a forever field trip, Sure, like, it's gonna be mentally tiring on you, and that's it though. If you can get past the mental parts of it and do what you can do best to help other people in any way, for a lifetime, you can have a lot of fun. Sure, it's gonna be difficult and mentally taxing, but the fun is always there, You just gotta find it.
I don't know if you can have too much fun with Islamic Bible.
You have a lot of fun in it.
Who knows?
You have a lot of fun in it.
Anyway.
Next we have purge strategies.
We skipped building
Oh,
a survival
shoot.
shelter.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We have building a survival shelter. Listen, this is right up our alley.
So
So, I have a survival shelter in Missouri currently. I'm building one. Evan and I tried to make a survival shelter here in Eureka. We just kind of abandoned the project because we got bored over the summer.
Yeah, we did. We got real bored.
Henry and I have built multiple survival shelters for Boy Scouts.
It's not hard to build them. You can build them pretty easily.
All it takes is like tarp and rope.
I mean, even if you, dead trees you can turn into stuff. You find a big rock, give it enough time. If it's like you get sharp, you can like sharpen on other stones, right? You can cut a tree down with hand. You know how the Indians and other stuff is? They just slam stones in a tree. You can cut down a tree given a few days. I mean, food's an issue, but we're talking about a survival shelter, not survival other things. Yeah, food would be an issue. Same with water. You have to find a way to get that clean. Fire. You're in a forest. Fire. Trees. Sticks.
You kind of gotta have like a fire starter. You can't just like pick up a stick and like.
You can tie 2 sticks in and rub them enough. They get
have
hot.
you tried that, Evan?
It takes a while. I'll tell you that much.
Have you tried it? Did you succeed?
It took a while.
You did succeed though. That's
Barely.
surprising.
Barely.
But how are you gonna like find a rope though in the forest? Like.
Hey, we're talking about building a survival
Listen.
shelter,
Listen.
not surviving.
Yeah.
It takes a while, but
I'm
trust me.
just trying to,
You
give
can
them a
do it.
little reality check. So you can't just make fire
You
because
can
it's
make fire really easily, surprisingly. Have you ever shot 2 stones together sometimes? They do make sparks. You hit something hard enough together, they make sparks. 2 metal balls, right?
How are you
hit
gonna
them
get
together?
metal balls in a forest?
I don't know. Block. Find them.
Find
You can, 2 metal balls, if you put them there, have enough force in the middle to burn through paper.
Yeah, if you just find like a
Find
lava
two
thing or something.
2 big stones, right? Slam them. You'll get a few sparks here and there if you're like you have to find the right type of metal, like stone.
How are you gonna make a
Like
fire if you're
sandstone.
slamming rocks into the middle of your fire?
It makes sparks. You get really dry leaves from trees and
Evan,
stuff.
have
You
you
build
ever
a dry
respectfully-
summer
Have
day.
you ever read the book Hatchet?
I've not.
Okay,
You get the
well,
right
listen.
sandstone will work, but otherwise,
Listen,
well,
if I remember correctly, he took an axe and he took a large rock that was presumably flint and steel, and he started slamming it and shaving the sparks off, and that's how he made his fires.
Is Hatchet based on a true story?
yes, kind of. I mean,
I
it's
don't remember.
realistic.
He was like,
I don't think it is.
It is.
no, it was.
It's a
I
realistic
don't
story.
remember. I read Hatchet when I was.
You
little.
can't really just easily find a piece of flint. That depends on your
A
geographical
lot of rocks
location.
work though. You'd be surprised. You get a nice solid stone thing.
But you
Even
gotta.
bricks, okay? I
you
can
got-
give it to you. They work.
Have you tried to make a fire using bricks?
I have
there's
bricks.
no bricks in the forest.
There's bricks and rocks out there, Henry. We can go out there, and I can prove to you, given enough time, you can make sparks.
Okay,
And
sparks
you can make
is
sparks, you can make fire.
Sparks is no, not necessarily because if you're
Try
trying to
enough
smash
leaves.
bricks together, you can't necessarily make enough.
You gotta strike them,
Leaves are
rub them.
I
fast.
mean, respectfully,
You can.
I'm not doubting you or anything, but the fact that you just said dried leaves
For
lets
the
me know that
kindling.
you have no idea how to start a fire.
For the kindling, to light the sparks,
You
right?
don't use
Try
leaves.
lighting a big log on fire with sparks. You really can't.
You don't use.
Dried leaves
I'll
are.
talk to you after. There's a lot to.
Dried leaves work, okay? You get a bunch of dried leaves piled up, and you get the sticks around them, and then the logs, like, in the middle with the leaves over them, right?
Have you
It
tried
works.
this, Evan, or are you just talking?
I'll try this later once it's not ready. You come over to my house, middle of the summer, sometime in June. we can record a third episode or a second episode, whatever this is right now, and I can prove to you I can start a fire out there. I can do it easily. Light work. Give me 2 hours. It takes a while with sticks and rope and stuff like that. And it
let's
takes
move on before
even
Henry
longer
has a
with
break-in.
finding the right stones, but you can do it. I started fires at my school before, back in Morton.
Is that why you go to Eureka now?
No. It was outside at recess for fun with the sticks. They had the concrete there for like the blacktop. It was like a weird white stone stuff. You could get different rocks, you just slam them on there and every now and then make a cool spark. I don't remember what type of stones it was, but you can throw them hard enough to make sparks.
Well, we're gonna move on.
Yes,
I
we
can't
can.
take this anymore.
We're on
Yes, we
purge
should.
strategies.
Purge
strategies. Listen, right? Purge. I don't think I've made too many people mad. Just in case, what I'm doing, I'm not doing anything illegal, right? I'm not that stupid. I try to rob from Hucks, I get shot by freaking I'm not gonna say that. He'll probably shoot me.
Anyway.
I'm going in my basement with a shotgun, and I'm just sitting. I'll be on my bed, I'll be on my phone, I'll be on my TV, but that shotgun will be on my bed with me. And if someone tries to break into my house, I'm staying safe, right? They're not taking me out. They're not taking my stuff out. But I'm not trying to steal nothing.
No, you're getting it wrong. Enemies are not. Everyone who participates in the purge is a psychopath. They're killing. If you ever watched the Purge movie, there's a guy in an alleyway with a guillotine dragging people there to chop their heads off, okay? They are psychopaths. It is not a matter of if you have enemies or not, okay? It is simply they are out there to kill for fun. Everyone's a psychopath. You don't hide in your house. What you do is you get your basement, right? You cover it in water, fill it with water, and let the smoke out. The top floor, pour a bit of gas in some place, light it on fire. Your house starts burning down, you're under your basement.
It's one day.
And that's the point. If your house is on the upstairs area, right? Somebody might try you, okay? Sure, you got a shotgun, but you don't want to kill somebody. So you light your house on fire. They walk by, things on fire, because everything's on fire. No one's throwing Molotovs. Even the rich people with the nice fences aren't safe, because they got in their house in the first movie. So you're not safe even with it. They're trying to fight everybody, okay? Everybody wants to smoke, okay? It's like Detroit. Or Chicago.
Detroit.
Chi-town.
I'm gonna say my strategy is that I don't live in Detroit. I live in Goodfield, Illinois. My neighbor is an 80-year-old lady with her 2 dogs, and
I might try you.
Watch out though, Michael Wary. That man, he might try something.
yeah, right. I'm gonna break out Michael. He's fine.
Listen, I think if you're in like a big city, what you do is you burn your house down purposefully, right? That way you can then not get it. That's how. Like if you live in like a bad part of town, like say you're living in like the slums, right, where everyone's out for smoke, even on days that are normal.
You are in West Peoria.
Yeah, if you're in like Chicago or something, right, you're burning your house down, hiding your basement with water. That way they don't get you.
You just hide
Or
under water.
your second best bet is this. Hear me out. You get to a really high place. You buy guns the night before. You get to a high place. People are out there purging. Right? You put a claymore up next to your door that you bought for this event purposely, because I bet they sell them. Right? Claymore next to the door up on the building you're on. You get your gun, you see people purging down there. Man, if a penny can kill somebody from a tower that's really high up, I'm sure a bullet will do the same, man. I'm taking shots, okay? Ain't no one coming near that building. They try and get in the building, claymore at the door. Stairs are gone, their knees are gone, they're gone. A penny can, yeah. That's fine. Look it up.
No,
that's an inside joke.
That's
Sorry.
an inside joke.
That has no place for it. Anyway.
Alright, purge strategies.
You either join the purging or you burn your house down.
Alright.
Water in your basement so you
That
don't
doesn't
die.
accomplish anything.
No.
I just don't have a house anymore.
No, they're gonna see the house singing on fire. They're not gonna go in there because they think everybody in there's dead already.
Oh yeah, so you're just hiding underwater.
You're not hiding underwater. You get like a thin layer, like about this thick of water down there. That way it cools you off so your basement can't light on fire with you. That way you can hide down there and lay on the ground so your head can slip off the water like this. You're like
if
this.
I find the motivation in my life to discuss this later, I will. But this is not the day. So let's move on.
Okay.
Survival skills / tips.
Depends on the survival you're doing. Is it like
Alright,
winter survival or like?
Listen, the most important thing, be warm.
Mhm.
That is it. That sounds stupid, but listen, if you are cold, it's bad. If you're warm, it's good. It doesn't matter. You can be hungry and you can be, I don't know, there's three things. Wet, hungry, cold. You need to be one at a time. You can't be, or you can afford to be two at a time. Usually wet and cold go along. If you're wet and hungry but you're warm, you're fine. If you're cold and hungry but you're dry, you're fine. It's a whole thing of,
If you're cold and wet, that is bad. That's gonna give you like sick or something. That's not what you want to be. That's like
it
raccoon
might have been one.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
I know the man you're talking about. It was one.
Oh.
Like if you're wet and hungry but you're warm, that's
No,
probably fine.
we're not really talking about comfort so much. Though. We're talking about survival, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
So but I agree. Most important thing is staying warm, because I mean, in this area at least, like that's gonna kill you the fastest. Besides, like, that's gonna kill you the fastest.
hungry, you got a month.
So
maybe
really,
if you're-
it's just getting insulation and fire. And fire, really, all you can do is hope you have anything that can make like sparks, like. Just stop talking for like 5 minutes so I can get this off, and then you can say whatever you want. So you just hope you have something that can concentrate sunlight or create sparks or create flame, even better, matches your lighter or something. But anything that can create fire, and if you can't, then just go for as much insulation as possible. So literally any leaves, needles, snow you find, anything you can use to just not freeze to death. That's like the number one thing. Because usually when, like they say, like most people in actual survival situations get found in like 24 hours or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're not gonna usually die from anything except for like, lack of oxygen. Stop smiling like that, bro.
Sorry, I'm
You
gonna
look like a monkey.
I'm gonna shut your point down. Oh.
I am so excited to hear it. But anyway, yeah, like in those 24 hours, you're not gonna die anything other than probably like, cold, realistically. So that's essentially.
Okay, let's
How
hear
did
it.
caveman make fire? They didn't know how he was working.
No, we're not going back to the fire
I
thing.
bet they were
Stop.
throwing rocks together
No,
like I'm talking
stop.
about. They
The
kept
fire
throwing rocks
thing.
together that made cool sparks, and they found out that could create heat eventually on accident, probably from old leaves. Or maybe giant grass in a really hot summer day.
Do you know that cavemen had fire? Or is that just something you saw in the Flintstones?
Can you stop?
If they didn't have fire, how did they start making stuff? Somebody had to discover fire. You can't make, like,
How do
steel
you know it's
without
a caveman? It could have been someone else.
Who else was making fire back then?
What do you mean back then?
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Everyone was
hey,
a caveman,
stop,
bro.
stop. No.
Caveman is like the universal term for really ancient, uncivilized people.
We're gonna get off this topic
Animals.
because I can't handle it.
No, hold on. No fire. You're right. Off the topic of fire, who cares?
Somebody had to throw something together. It was probably rocks.
Survival tips.
Anyway.
We didn't say
Okay.
anything bad there.
Nothing happened. The only survival tip you have been given so far this entire time. Dandelions, you can eat them. Pine
Just
trees.
said that. That's all I
Yes.
was given.
Dandelions. You can eat dandelions. Roots can be turned to coffee. Don't eat them when they're puffy, but you can eat the flowers when they're yellow. You can eat the stems and the leaves. They taste disgusting. They're awful, but you can eat them.
Certain types of pine bark you can
Yes.
eat nibble on.
If you take off the pine bark and see how it's white, there's that little white, you can scrape that layer off. You can eat it. Also tastes disgusting, but it's food. There's a lot of stuff you can eat, honestly. A lot of greens that are food. You can also eat acorns after soaking them in water for, I don't remember if it's 24 hours or a week. One of the two. Probably should go with a week, just in case, unless you starve to death. Also, falsified myths. Talking about, this is one that gets me very mad every time. Don't drink water if you don't know what's in it, or don't drink cactus water because it'll make you more dehydrated. If you're going to die in a couple hours from dehydration, it doesn't matter what the water does to you, it will help you live longer. So if you ever see that Reddit or that myth on Reddit or something, it's wrong.
Just because the water is clear does not mean it's safe to drink. If it's murky, it probably isn't. If it's clear, it could also just not, because you never know what creatures live in there. Parasites are small. If you're thirsty and going for a clear thing of water, you're going to see a clear thing of water in the floor. You're not probably going to miss something swimming by it as
Yes.
you take a sip.
Do whatever you can to get clean water, because that's going to kill you far before hunger will. I mean, after cold, but far before hunger will. So really, whatever you can do to it, work with what you got. Like, if you have to drink stagnant water that's been sitting in a pond for, a year, sucks to suck. But you gotta do it. So, if you can find running water, good. If you can boil it, better. If you can distill it, perfect. If you have, actually well-distilled water, that's not gonna kill you in any amount of time. So, that's essentially, that's next priority after not freezing to
Yeah.
death.
So, alright. That was the last one on the survival. There is one last topic that I refrained from talking about. Hope put this one in. The island. A certain island in the Caribbean. Are we allowed to talk about this?
What island are we talking
I
about
don't
exactly?
know what this is about.
You don't know what island this is
The
about?
cannibal one? Yeah, am I right?
No.
Oh, okay, good then.
The Bill Clinton Island.
Oh,
Oh,
that
Epstein.
island.
Yeah.
It depends on what we talk about.
I mean,
What was the actual
let's tread carefully
what's the
around this
prompt?
The prompt was straight up Epstein Island.
one.
Just Epstein Island.
I think we
I
can
don't
talk
know
about
if
this
we
if we refrain from talking about,
Well-
I did this yesterday, bro.
Do we need to like spot him or?
I don't know if I can.
He's built different.
I can do this all day. I mean, I'm talking while I'm doing it. So it can't be that hard. Okay, have a seat. Play work, me. Get off that. There we go. So, hey, Junior.
Might work no reaction.
Yeah, I'm feeling that from yesterday.
It's already recording, right? Yeah, it's going.
Let go of it.
Okay, bro. You got it. Come on, get it.
Don't touch it.
Put leg drag, push it.
Don't touch it. Let go of it.
That was up. You got it. Good work.
I'll count that as good enough. My legs are both cramped.